Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of our newest segment. It's going to be our weekly Wargasm segment. And Shane and I thought we would start a YouTube channel. So what we're hoping is every week to have some really cool updates for you, tidbits of information, strategies, and any other news that comes around for the Ninth Age or wargaming in general. And to kick off episode number one, I'm going to turn it over to Shane. He's got a really, really great topic that we're going to talk about. And like I said, guys, thanks for joining, and hopefully we're going to have some really awesome segments in the future coming for you.
Yeah, guys, we really wanted to try and do a little bit more of a weekly subject matter here for you guys, rather than just our normal shows, which are coming roughly once a month. We wanted to do something, a little smaller episode, something you guys could, kind of grasp your teeth on once a week and kind of see what we got here. And a lot of this, you might see us talking about videos that we find online or new subjects from Ninth Age or whatever. A few weeks, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago now, Silva showed me a guy, one of his YouTube channels called Vince Venturella. Venturella. I know I'm mispronouncing that, and Vince, I'm sorry. If you've never seen him before, go check him out. His YouTube channel is amazing. He's got some awesome content, battle reports for Ninth Age, Sigmar, some really good hobby stuff. He's absolutely phenomenal. And I ran across a video that he did in June of last year. And that's kind of what we're going to be chatting about today a little bit. And it's called Age of Sigmar versus the Ninth Age. There is no competition. Now, I've probably watched this video a dozen times already because Vince makes some really awesome points in this video. And James, I know I sent it to you, and you did get a chance to take a look at it.
Right, I looked at it, and actually I have the information up right now. It is Vince Venturella, and yes, he does have a YouTube channel, and seems to have a lot of, he has a lot of really good content up on there. So aside from this video that we're going to be primarily talking about, like Shane said, it's worth checking out his YouTube channel. He seems to have a lot of really, really cool miniature information on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, and in this video, there's some really cool stuff that he talks about that really kind of got me thinking about, some of the past things that I know I've said about Sigmar, and I know I'm a little biased towards Ninth Age, as most of us probably are, but for being a video that I know is going on a year old, I'm a little disappointed in myself for having never found it before, because it really shows some really good point and counterpoint between what it is that Games Workshop is doing and what it is that the guys of the Ninth Age are doing. And it's actually a really cool video. He talks about the way that, in the video, he starts off discussing how a lot of players, especially with Ninth Age when it was first came out, viewed the gaming system and hobby in general more like Highlander. And in all reality, it's a really good analogy, because it was, you can only do one or the other, you can't do both, where a lot of what he was talking about is that's not the case, and he's absolutely right. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong at all. There are several different ways that you can scratch your hobby itch, and basically what the video is outlining is, hey, there's room for a whole bunch of other gaming systems out there. These guys aren't in direct competition with each other, and actually one helps out the other. And Shane and I have had a lot of time devoted on our podcasts over the last few episodes, talking about that whole Games Workshop versus Ninth Age versus other systems out there. And, we're all gamers. We're all looking for that, a game that we can sink our teeth into, that has, a really, really dedicated community, and that, we can love and we can share our hobby with other people. But, we're all gamers. Where we play our game and where we put our attention, that's our business. If it's something that you love to do, great. If you love the game, play it. If you don't love the game, play something else. But the situation between Ninth Age and Games Workshop, or more specifically Age of Sigmar, there was a lot of drama. There was a lot of rumors going through that, Shane and I have even talked about on our last episode when we covered Adepticon. And, a lot of that has turned out to be, rumors that had, no merit, or, people were just, jumping the gun. And this video, having been a year old, still is very relevant to what's going on right now in the community, what's being talked about. And what we just want to say is, hey, you know what? There is no competition, and, all that drama that has been going on, that, Age of Sigmar and Games Workshop was trying to put the squash on the Ninth Age and give them shit, just wasn't true. And this video kind of it addresses that. It talks about that. It talks about the psychology behind that situation and what's actually going on and how we can move forward and just have a better community of gamers.
Well, yeah, it does that, but it also talks about, so one thing that Vince addresses that I think is actually kind of important, which is why I wanted to make our first weekly Wargasm segment about this video specifically, is something that I'd never thought about before, and that's what is the goal of the companies that are producing each game. And he lays this out really well, and I'm going to just kind of bullet point what it is that he talked about, simply because I highly recommend checking out his video. If you haven't seen it, go look at it, because it's a fantastic video, and I will be posting a link for it on our webpage as well, because it is fantastic. But when you look at Age of Sigmar and you look at what Games Workshop is trying to produce when it comes to their company, their goals are to sell models, they want to engage their community in the game, and they want to build their intellectual property and its licensing value, because they're a for-profit company. They have stockholders that they have to report to. If you piss off your stockholders and you don't produce money on a publicly traded company, well, your company's going to fold. And so that's their goal. Their goal is to produce a game and make money. While, yes, they do eventually want to make their community happy, the ultimate goal of their company is to simply sell and make money. Whereas when you look at the guys in the Ninth Age, none of them are getting paid for what they're doing. It's all volunteer time. These guys are putting in a ridiculous amount of work. All of the guys that do tournaments and the guys that produce all the rules. And, I mean, this amazing team of developers that has gone above and beyond to make this game what it is. And Vince actually takes this phrase directly off of the Ninth Age website, and that's, we aim to provide a competitive, balanced, and fun game with updates and new rules to be released regularly. That's the core of Ninth Age. But then they also want tournament play, which is part of that competitive and balanced game, and they're non-profit. The Ninth Age, the grouping, I don't even know if they're classified as an LLC because I'm not an attorney, but the grouping of individuals that are helping produce this game, it's a non-profit. They're not out to make money. They're out to make it so that their hobby can continue to live, because they wanted something that was going to be out there beyond. I mean, these are guys that were huge fans of what Games Workshop had with 8th edition, and they wanted to see that spirit of a game continue, that spirit live on. So that's why the Ninth Age was born, whereas Sigmar was a reinvention for Games Workshop. Understandably, I get it. They wanted to go a new direction, but I just think that Vince lays this out really, really well, and he makes some really good points, because I know we've had a lot of hate between the guys that only play Sigmar towards the guys that play Ninth Age, and the guys that only play Ninth Age towards Sigmar fans. But I know that there are still a lot of guys that do both. And one of the big points that Vince makes in his video is in regards to, say, something like video games. How many people only play one video game? Like,
I play like
a dozen?
3 or 4 at a time when I'm playing a game. When I'm actively playing video games.
Yeah, exactly. And he makes this point, and I'd never thought about it that way, in that you don't typically just do one thing, right? There's room for people to try both, and you can examine what is out there that you like and what is out there that you don't. And like you said earlier, James, if you don't like it, don't play it.
Well,
But
right.
but he also makes a really good comment in that, for one company to have 100% market share, it's not good. It really isn't. And I can liken this to another hobby of mine, and that's professional wrestling. When the WWE bought out WCW, their quality went down dramatically.
Competition is what keeps you going. It's what makes you thrive. It's what makes you improve. And if you think about it from that aspect, you have Age of Sigmar, you have Kings of War, you have Ninth Age. Those are 3 systems. And, let's throw Bolt Action in there, too. You've got systems.
Let's even go beyond that. You can also throw in Malifaux. You can throw
Right.
in war hordes. I mean,
All right, I'm talking
those are
specifically
those are the big
mostly
ones.
the mass, the ones en masse, your big rank and file ones.
Oh, okay.
Because I consider right. The skirmish games for me feel different than a lot of those mass horde type army games, and your mass rank and file games like Ninth Age and Kings of
Gotcha.
War. I don't know. For me, they feel different.
Very
But
true.
if you want to scratch that itch, if you want to play that game, it doesn't matter what you play. They're not all in direct competition. And the fact that I'm a Ninth Age player is helping Games Workshop. The fact that there are Age of Sigmar players out there that are interested in Ninth Age, that helps Ninth Age. I mean, we're all working together, and if I'm mostly buying models to represent the Ninth Age crew, the Ninth Age grouping of models and armies, Games Workshop is probably still benefiting off of me, because most of the models that we are going to buy, that we kind of have that baseline look that we kind of gauge our armies off of, are those Games Workshop models, those lines. And, if we have those models, who's to say, a lot of the Ninth Age players be like, hey, try an Age of Sigmar event. You might like it. And who's to say that the Age of Sigmar people can't be convinced, hey, try a Ninth Age event. You might like it. Because we have the same models, and if people end up playing both games, guess what? That's just a bigger win for the community.
Yeah, and Vince does cover a lot of that too. And one of his direct quotes is, Age of Sigmar is less time consuming, and it's a change of pace for experienced Ninth Agers. But with more games, it's appealing to more people, which means more gamers, more market, more growth, more miniature lines, and more hobby supplies, more everything. And like you just said, competition breeds innovation. I mean, that's how it really works. So the more that these guys are out there, they're not directly competing with each other for that market share, because their goals are different, but they're growing that community. The base community is what we're trying to get at. And I'm stunned that I'd never put this together the way that Vince did, and I give him a lot of credit for putting this out there. I know, even right out the gate, he says that he's probably going to hear some flack from this, and I'm willing to bet that he probably did when he first put out the video. But Vince, kudos for putting this out there the way you did, and I just think it's amazing. Guys, I'm really hoping that you go check out his video. Again, there will be a link for this on our webpage. For those of you who are new to the Wargamer Project podcast, we do have a webpage. We are the WPpodcast.com. You'll find all sorts of fun little links on there. You'll find links to our, what do we got, James? 34 episodes of our episode of our
Yeah,
show?
we're at it's on 34, 35 right now. And again, the website is the www.thewppodcast.com, and we're going to have links to the video, links to all of this stuff up on the website. But when you do check out the website, the video is Age of Sigmar versus the Ninth Age. There is no competition, by Vince Venturella. Now, guys, if you want to check us out on iTunes. Please search for us there. If you want to support the podcast, search for it, subscribe to any of your local Android apps where you can subscribe to your podcast. Give us a 4 or 5 star review, lie to the public, say that we're great, and just spread the word, because without you guys, we're not going to be doing this. But anyway, guys, we're going to definitely be covering a lot of this information more in depth in future episodes, but we just wanted to give you a taste of that and welcome you to the first episode of the Wargasm Weekly.
Yes, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure you'll hear from us soon.
Definitely. And again, if you guys have any sort of information you want us to cover, or you have a topic for a future Wargasm Weekly, shoot us an email at the WPpodcast@gmail.com. So this is James and Shane signing out for episode 1 of Wargasm Weekly.
Stay frosty.